Star Wars has impacted a lot of people since it debuted back in 1977. The films have garnered a worldwide fan base and raked in billions at the box office. It is easily one of the most important films when it came out. The audience fell into that world George Lucas created, and the idea of a blockbuster was starting to manifest into the film industry. The film's success meant that the story of Star Wars has continued on to today's generation, with new fans being born every single day. This has meant that the film has been dissected in every angle that could possibly be managed. Reviews, articles and video essays mean Star Wars criticism is everywhere. From love letters to the original 3, to the interrogation of the prequels, and the endless debate of who ruined the franchise with the newest rendition of Star Wars. But in today's age and the times we live in, I got thinking about a question that popped up on my Instagram account a few times, and that is, what is your quarantine movie? What is the best film to watch while you are stuck at home? And the answers always went back to movies about quarantine. But I always had this idea that the movie should be one that inspires and brings joy to people who will be watching it in these dark times that we live in. It should be a movie that gives us courage to endure and make sacrifices for the greater good of each other. A movie that inspires hope. And what better movie than Star Wars: A New Hope? George Lucas's first film in the Star Wars franchise, A New Hope, is a movie that a lot of us probably need to watch. One, because escapism right now is important. The harsh world we live in can be too much, and sometimes we just need to live in another galaxy far, far away. And two, the characters of Luke, Leia, Han and Obi Wan are characters that believe in the good of all people. From Leia's bravery into giving herself up to the Empire so the rebels can get the Death Star plans, Han Solo's change of heart to help the rebels in the end battle, Obi-Wan's sacrifice so that he can mentor Luke in a far greater capacity than before, and Luke for being the hero of a story that wasn't supposed to be his. In this time that we live in, we can look at these characters and take inspiration. Leia in A New Hope is powerful whenever she's on screen. She stands firm against the Empire's tortures and doesn't flinch when being confronted. Her ability to stay calm in high intense situations means she can come up with plans on the go, and a belief in the mission that the rebels must get the Death Star blueprints means she is willing to be captured by the Empire. That is her resolve, to complete her mission no matter the cost. It isn't fair that Alderaan gets blown up by the Death Star, but it becomes a necessary sacrifice for the greater good of the plan. The bigger picture is what is important. Leia is a character in A New Hope that can teach us about being strong-willed and to fight the urges of making the easier decision. She could have easily told Darth Vader where the plans were and not get tortured. But Leia wasn't thinking of herself. She was thinking about the people that had sacrificed their lives to make sure those Death Star plans were within the grasp of the rebellion. That the rebellion was in the best position to make that attack and stop the Empire. She is a character that we can take inspiration from, with her mental strength to her selflessness, because she knows the cause is bigger than she is. She knows that her decision to be kept prisoner would probably lead to her death, but if that means that the rebels get the plans, then that's what it takes. Leia is strong. It is simple as that. Han Solo is a character at the beginning was a smuggler working for a space pimp in Jabba the Hutt. Throughout A New Hope, Han brings doubt over the plan to save the princess and doesn't believe in the hokey religion of the Force.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Han is a character that only cares for himself and Chewbacca. And why should he care for anyone else? No one pays the maintenance of his ship but himself. No one provides him with food but himself. No one looks out for him but himself. Han Solo only thinks about what's good for Han Solo and Chewie. It is a philosophy that has led this far in his life, so why would he change? And up until the third act, Han Solo's every action he takes is for the paycheck at the end of the mission. But Han changes perspective. He understands all that money means nothing if the people you actually like are all dead. Han gets a conscience, and it's a guilty one. He begins to no longer only think about himself, but now start thinking about the consequences for other people and how they are affected. And in the end, Han helps Luke destroy the Death Star. The beauty of Han Solo is that he is a character that changes his selfish beliefs to now thinking about other people. He's a character that becomes more and more likable with each action he makes, from helping rescue Leia, charging at a swarm of stormtroopers and to choosing to fight for others than fighting for himself. Old Ben Kenobi makes the ultimate sacrifice in A New Hope, his life. But it wasn't in vain that he made that decision. It was because he knew by sacrificing himself, he can not only help Luke, but help his dearest friend, Anakin Skywalker. The fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader is really interesting because Obi-Wan already knew the outcome before he even pulled out his lightsaber. In the beginning of A New Hope, Obi-Wan hints at his demise.
He said he was dead.
Oh, he's not dead. Not yet.
So the decision to sacrifice himself was already a pre-planned motion. A motion that was spiraled into himself becoming far more useful by allowing his spiritual self guide Luke. But more importantly, his sacrifice meant that his dearest friend Anakin can be at peace, that he can finally return to the good side of the Force. It is clear from the facial expressions that Obi-Wan is tormented by his decision to leave his Padawan burning to death at Mustafar. This decision is something that he had to carry throughout his life. But now, with Luke beside him, Obi-Wan found a way to redeem himself and push the course of Darth Vader back into the arms of Anakin, allowing Anakin a resolution that he deserved by sacrificing himself and guiding Luke to change his father, giving both Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker closure. From the hundreds to thousands of other video essays and dissections of Star Wars, you all know that Luke is the reluctant hero, a farmer boy who first rejects the call of action to then be pushed into it by forces he could not control, and in the end becomes the hero of our story. Luke is the poster boy of that character arc, but that doesn't make it less interesting to talk about, and it doesn't make it less impactful. Luke Skywalker is a character that started from nothing to be the hero who destroyed the Death Star. He is a character that everyone can gravitate towards because he is like everyone. Someone trying to escape the lives they live for a more exciting one, but can't because of commitment to other beholdings. His aunt and uncle need him for the farm. It is that simple. And it is that reason why Luke becomes a character that is endearing and the beacon of light for good. That simple obstacle of staying with his aunt and uncle is something that Luke can easily get around. He can just leave, stating his anger that he was lied to about his father from his uncle, or convincing them that the rebellion needs his help. But Luke doesn't think about himself, he only thinks for the family that took him and raised him. The allure of travelling with Obi-Wan to fight the Empire would be exciting, but it would mean that his aunt and uncle would struggle on their farm, not making enough money to survive on. So Luke rejected that call from Obi-Wan. He gave up on that opportunity to help his family. Yeah, in the end he blew up the Death Star, but the ultimate heroic act was saying no to Obi-Wan to help his aunt and uncle on their farm. Not for fighting the Empire, but for fighting for his aunt and uncle when they needed him most. The selfless behaviour of Luke, Leia, Han and Obi-Wan are traits that we can use in today's weird and scary times. We can be strong like Leia, we can think about others like Han and Obi-Wan, and we can all be the heroes of this story like Luke. So, I want to thank everyone playing their part in this pandemic, from the ones staying home, to the ones who are raising money for the cause, and to those essential workers risking their lives to save others. We all might feel that normality is a galaxy away. We all might feel the stress of not leaving the house as we gaze upon the sunset. But the story of Star Wars is one of hope, and it is one about working together to beat the big evil. So, stay strong, stay safe, and may the Force be with you, always.